This week we watched a movie called It's Kind of a Funny Story. Now, I think out of all the movies, this is the one movie that I was actually looking forward to seeing because I had heard a lot about it, and I'm a big fan of Zach Galifianakis, so I was really excited that we got to watch it. I kind of enjoyed that the movie wasn't completely realistic. I mean, like, there were obvious elements that were ridiculous, like the whole Queen situation, but I liked that I don't feel that many kids would check themselves into a mental hospital on their own free will, but I kind of liked that kind of odd, surreal like stuff was in the movie. I thought it gave it like such a quirky feel, and I like things that are quirky. I think they're really unique and different and interesting. I also really liked the acting. I hadn't seen Zach Galifianakis in anything serious, like a serious role, but he kind of blew me away in this. And like, I was really surprised as well. I thought he was really good and interesting, and his character was so complex. And I liked that air of mystery about his character. It's like you knew about him and stuff like that and his problems and about his daughter and his wife, but you didn't really know that much. And I think that was kind of a direct reflection of, I guess, being in a situation like that, you know, being in a mental facility or what have you. You're not there for extremely long term at sometimes, and you meet these people that come in and out of your life, and you know, you don't always know the most about them, but you meet these people and they affect you. And I liked that there was kind of such a realistic perspective on that. And can I just say, I actually loved that Queen scene. I thought it was so, I mean, it wasn't like extremely random, but it kind of was spontaneous and I wasn't expecting it. I think it really, I don't know, I just thought it was perfect. It was hilarious. It went with the mood of the movie really well, even though it was so out of nowhere. Something we talked about a lot in the Q&A session was the fact that the movie was kind of directed towards this like young or like early, like late teen demographic because it was based on a book, but I didn't really get that from the movie. I didn't know that prior to hearing anything about the movie or watching the movie, so I was actually surprised because it's kind of a universal thing. Like, I feel like anybody could enjoy that kind of movie. It wasn't like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants kind of thing where it's like this specific set of people will mainly get the message behind this movie and everybody else will kind of, you know, be bombarded by these excessive teen references and stuff like that. I think, like, movies that deal with, you know, sadness, just something, an innate feeling within, I guess, all humans, you know, it's kind of a broad message and something that everybody can relate to. I mean, like, I'm sure we've all felt depressed at certain times. You know, seeing someone like Craig's age up to like Zach's character's age, you know, where they're like clearly in like the middle of their life or whatever. I feel like it made it a kind of universal movie. I think anybody and everybody can enjoy this and kind of find themselves and how they felt at least once in every character. I was also pleasantly surprised when I heard that the director who directed this, or the directors that directed this movie, were the same directors that directed Half Nelson, which is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie to death. In the Q&A session, the directors mentioned how they've traveled and visited different kind of hospitals with facilities like the one in the movie, and I always like when directors or even actors do their research before they pursue something. Sometimes, like with actors, it's considered to be really method to go do research and introduce yourself to this kind of world, but I think, you know, sometimes you need to. You know, if you haven't had any direct relation to this very specific situation, like a, you know, psych ward in a hospital, then, like, you know, it can't hurt to do your research. So I feel like this was something I loved about this movie, that it felt like it was researched. It felt like they put the time and effort into trying to get the details right, down to the pictures on the walls. That was awesome. The directors also mentioned that they worked with the actors and their kind of specific skill set. They wanted to kind of enhance, you know, what every individual actor was good at. Like, Zach was good at, you know, comedy, clearly. And Craig's character was more towards the, you know, deadpan kind of dramatic and comedy route. And I like that, you know, the directors weren't forcing each actor into this specific mold because of the characters they're playing. You know, I like directors, and I like the idea of directors working with what they're given with actors, because actors are people too, and trying to enhance certain parts of their abilities to benefit a character, I think is always great. So all in all, I definitely enjoyed this movie. I would recommend it to anybody. I don't think it's a age-specific movie. Maybe people that are super, super, super old won't enjoy it as much as people that are a bit younger, but I think everybody would really enjoy this movie. It's funny, it's got crazy scenes and crazy characters, and it's also serious at times, so all those drama fanatics will enjoy it as well.